Hello everybody and welcome to the Punchboard Report. My name is Blake Ryder. Today we are looking at Century Spice Road, designed by Emerson Matsuuchi and published in 2017 by Plan B Games. Now, this game was designed as part of a trilogy, the other two being Century A New World and Century Eastern Wonders, and they were designed to be played as standalone games as well as in tandem with the other games. So you can combine them. You could combine game 1 with game 2 with game 3, game 1 with game 3, or even all three together. However, today we're just looking at Century Spice Road, which was the first game in that trilogy. Thematically speaking, this is a spice trading game where you're going to be trading spices at different exchange rates to try to amass these resources in certain proportions that you need to get these point scoring cards. This game is all about efficiency and trading resources as efficiently as possible. So let's get this set up on the table and we'll be back after that for some thoughts. Okay, so this is Century Spice Road, and this is kind of the main playing area, and every player is going to have one of these to store their resources, and these can store a maximum of 10 of these spices at any given moment. We have a bunch of resources on the table. This is, we got turmeric and saffron and cardamom and cinnamon, but for the sake of the explanation, yellow, red, green, and brown. We also have these scoring cards, and you're going to be trying to accumulate these resources in these proportions to get these cards and claim them to get points. So if I have 3 browns and 2 reds to trade in, I can get this card, and that'll give me 16 points. And if I was to claim this card on my turn, these would all kind of slide down, and a new one then would replace it. But we're going to be trying to accumulate these resources in these combinations to get points. And we also have these cards. And the game really revolves around these cards and creating combinations of cards that work well, so you can exchange certain resources at exchange rates that allow you to accumulate resources in these combinations. So everyone is going to start with a few resources on their card, depending on where they are in player order, as well as a hand of these 2 cards. Everyone starts with the same exact 2 cards, and then the game will begin. On your turn, you have an option of 4 actions, and you're going to do 1 action. The first action you can do is simply play a card from your hand. Now, like I said, we start with those 2 cards, but we'll be accumulating these cards over the course of the game. Now, there are 3 different types of cards. The first type is this type, which simply gives you the resources listed. So I would place this one down. I would simply get 2 yellow resources, but there are other cards that offer similar functionality. Then there are these, which are upgrade cards, and this is a double upgrade because you see 2 cubes over there. I can play this card in front of me, and I can do 2 upgrades. So these are in ascending order in terms of value. This is less valuable than this, is less valuable than this, and that's the most valuable. So on my turn, I could play this card, and I can exchange a yellow for a red. That's 1 of my upgrades, and then I can do it again. A yellow for a red. That is 2 upgrades for my double upgrade card. Alternatively, I also could have played that card and upgraded 1 of my yellows for a green, because that is a single cube going up 2 steps. So before I did 2 yellows for 2 reds, that is going up 1 step. I did that twice. Or I could do a yellow to a green, because that is going up 2 steps once. And the last type of card are these cards, and this is really what the crux of the game. So this will allow you to exchange a brown for a green and 3 yellows. This will then allow you to change those very same 3 yellows for a red and a green. So you're trying to find cards with combinations that work well together to accumulate these resources in these combinations. So, like I said, 4 actions. First action you can do is simply play a card in front of you and do whatever it says. I play that in front of me, I take 2 yellows. I do that in front of me, I upgrade 2 cards. The next thing you can do on your turn is take one of these cards and start building your engine. This card is always free, so I could take this card, and then these would all move down, and a new one would then flip over. But let's hypothetically say, for what I'm trying to do, I wanted this card instead. If I wanted that card, I could take any resources from my card, and then skip these 2, having to place 1 resource on each one I skip, and then I will take that one, and again, these will slide down. At a certain point, these are going to become nice and appealing, because let's say no one wanted this card, but people keep skipping it and keep adding resources to it. At a certain point, there may be several resources on this, and if I take this card, I will also take all the resources that come with it. So that is another way to get resource cards. So, first action, again, play a card. Second action you can do, take one of these. Third action you can do is claim one of these point cards. Now, once you accumulate these resources in these combinations, I could turn them in and take the card. So if I had 3 greens and 2 reds, take the card, these slide down, new one comes up, and then I will have 13 points. And the game end is going to be triggered if you accumulate your 5th card. Once that will trigger the last round of the game, or 6 cards in a 2 or a 3-player game. If you take the cards in either of these sections, you'll get these coins. This is going to be worth 3 points at the end of the game if you get a gold coin, 1 point at the end of the game if you get a silver coin. The reason they do this is because like a 6-point card is not necessarily as appealing, but if you get a 3-point token with it, it kind of forces the people to take cards on this side and keep the flow going. The last action you can do is regather your cards that you've played down. So on your turn, like I said, you're going to play cards and you're going to manipulate your resources, but they're going to stay on the table and you cannot play them again until you gather them back and scoop them back into your hand. So your last action is essentially a reset action. You take all your cards and take them back into your hand, and then you can deploy them again on subsequent turns. So that is the game. I want to give you one quick example of how this resource conversion works so you can see the game in action. But everyone, like I said, is going to have one of these cards. And let's say this is what I had, and now let's say it's my turn, okay? So let's say it's my turn, and the first thing I do is I play this card, okay? And I simply get a green. Okay, my opponents go, it comes back to me, and now I take this, and I say, okay, green for 2 reds. So I put that down, I take my green, and I exchange it for 2 reds, okay? Now it goes around, back to me again. I can take those 2 reds with this card and exchange 2 reds for a brown and 2 yellows. So 2 reds for a brown and 2 more yellows. Okay, so now I'm starting to get some stuff on my sled. And now on my next turn, I can take 3 of my yellows and exchange that for 1 brown. Hypothetically, if I had 6 yellows, I could do it twice. Whenever you play the card, you can actually activate it as many times as resources you have. So I can theoretically take 3 yellows and do it for a brown. If I had 6 yellows, I could do that for 2 browns. And now I can take this card, which I can take those 2 browns and exchange it for 3 greens, a red, and a yellow. So 2 browns, pop those back here, and then I have 3 greens, 3 greens, a red, and a yellow. So you see you can basically up convert and down convert in different proportions to try to amass these combinations of resources. And again, game end will be triggered once the 5th or 6th of these is claimed. Everyone adds up their points, and the most points is the winner. So there you have it. That was Century Spice Road. Now, I think this game is brilliant. And the brilliance, in my mind, is in the simplicity of the system. You either take a card, or you play a card generally. And then you play a card, you just do the exchange. And that's it. And I'll admit it, when I first heard about this game, and I read about this game, I wasn't really interested in it at all. I pretty much dismissed it. Even after it came out and people were raving about it, I was like, this just doesn't seem that interesting. I kind of just punted for a while. And then I tell you, eventually I pulled the trigger and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. Everyone's saying it's that good. And I happily wrong. I was way off. This game is fantastic. This is one of my absolute favorite games to teach people because once you get it, it is just really engaging in how you can kind of come up with these patterns where you say, okay, I can take these yellows and change these for a red, and then those reds I can go here, and then that'll give me greens, which will give me this. And you can piece together an incredibly efficient engine. And this game is all about efficiency. It's all about having a conversion rate and a conversion plan that converts those resources as efficiently as possible. And when you get one that is just churning and you have your process, it is wonderful. So other things about this game. There are a couple of situations that we will be kind of house rule in this game. Namely, if you set the game up and you draw the top 6 or so cards, and which are the first cards that'll appear on the in the middle of the table with the different conversion rates. There are certain scenarios where for example, there's one card of the game that just gives you 1 brown cube. There's another card of the game that gives you a triple upgrade, both of which are very valuable cards. There's also one that gives you a single green cube, also incredibly valuable. Now, when you lay out the cards initially, if one of those cards is at the very end of the row and you can essentially take it for free, whoever is going first can just take that card and have a free brown cube or that triple upgrade card right off the bat, not pay anything for it. Now, I understand that's part of the game. However, it does, when it comes up, when those cards, that are those powerful cards, the triple upgrade card or the brown card, when it comes up in the scheme of the game, and you want it and you get it, but you pay for it and you pop resources, on everything you need to skip to get it. That's one thing. But if the game starts and the first player just gets that because that was the first card that happened to be there, and now they have that, that in my mind is a little bit unbalanced in a sense. So we always play that if any of those cards come up right at the front of that row, we'll just shuffle them back into the deck and draw a new card and then continue. So shy of that, I think this game is essentially without flaw. It is flawless in my mind. It is the right level of thinkiness, puzzliness, while being approachable for gamers and non-gamers alike. This game came out in 2017, and this was not nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, which is shocking in my opinion, because this game is literally the type of game that you would expect would be nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. Very creative, inventive, and just hits that sweet spot where you can teach it to people and they just can kind of get into it very quickly. That year it was King Domino that won, and nothing against King Domino. I own King Domino. I think it's right there. But it was King Domino, and it was Magic Maze, which I also own, which is right there. And it was also Quest for El Dorado, which is on the other side of my room. So all those are good games, but I don't know. I love this game. In my opinion, this is the best of that bunch. But all that being said, if you've never tried this game, try it. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't. I love it. A lot of people love it. And I think it's definitely worth trying because I think it is that innovative and that much of a good system that Emerson Matsuuchi developed. So if this sounded interesting to you, I recommend checking it out. Thank you again for watching. My name is Blake Ryder.